Legends, welcome to the Gym Boss podcast. I'm Jimmy Halley. I'm your host as always. And this episode is going to be all about what to do when your ads stop working. If you've run ads in the past and your leads have dried up, or your cost per lead has gone sky high, just like petrol prices has recently, well, then you want to listen in, because this episode is all about the 6-part checklist that we use internally at Gym Boss Marketing Co., our advertising agency here for gyms, to help turn around client campaigns once they stop performing, because all campaigns do. All ad campaigns stop performing over time. And so you're going to need to have a system in place and a checklist, a methodical step checklist, instead of just like going by gut feel. Go through by use data and assess exactly what to do. And it's a 6-part checklist I'll take you through. But before I get in, if you are a listener of the podcast, please rate and review and subscribe to the podcast. I really appreciate that. Every little bit helps. And if you're on YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel too. I really would appreciate that. Right. So let's move on, guys. Let's get into the meat of this. And I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to take you through this. If you're watching this, if you're on audio, it's fine. I'm going to be able to take you through it all step by step here. So what to do when your leads stop working. So I did a podcast on this last week or the week before with Jono from Fitness Education Online. And I thought I'd do another quick one in here so you guys can get another take of it. So here it is. Part 1 is review the data. So when we say review data is, do I have everything set up properly? I know it makes sense, but like sometimes it might just be human error. So part 1, it could be human error is why your ads aren't working, because do we have the correct campaign set up? So when I say the correct campaign, like the correct campaign type, have you selected traffic when it should be conversions, or you selected, engagement when it should be lead forms, or like, you know what I mean? Like make sure you got the right campaign type. Make sure the images are correct for my audience. Make sure you haven't messed up and put men's images on a women's ad by accident, because that can happen. Or vice versa. Make sure the banners that you put on the actual images themselves, if you put text overlay on it, make sure it matches the offer, the thing you're advertising and what you're saying in the ad copy. Because if they're off, that could be a massive reason why people might be confused. And also another simple one here is the ad copy. Are there any errors? Do you have any errors in your ad copy? Because if you are, saying things about, a men's program when you're clearly advertising a women's program, it's going to be a bit confusing. They're going to be like, what's going on here? And then lastly, make sure your destination, the destination where you're sending people to, like lead forms, landing pages, messenger, has all the correct information. So once they have the ad, like where they're going to next after they click from the ad through to the next piece, like whether it's a lead form, a landing page, or into messenger, or wherever you're sending them, has all the correct information, is congruent with what you're saying in the ad. So if the ad says 28-day challenge, make sure on the next page it says 28-day challenge as well. Don't call it something different. That's the first part of like, have I got everything set up right? And this is still all under part 1. Part 1 number next, right, is how long. You also got to ask yourself, how long have I had no leads, or how long has the cost per lead been super sky high? Because if it is only been 24 hours, I'd probably just leave it. I wouldn't worry about it so much. But if it's been like 3 days or more, then that's where you would probably need to make some change. I would most definitely need to look at some changes. And I'd first look at like these things that we've just mentioned just before. But that's number 1, is like you want to look at that. And then, when you're looking at this, is the cost per lead also, are you looking at the campaign as a whole, or are you going into the next level of the ad set? Because the individual ads themselves, because you might be running, say, 3 or 4 different ads for the same offer that have different images on them, for example. So maybe one of those images is performing the best, but the rest of them are not. So what you could do, really simple fix, is just turn off the ones that aren't working and keep the winner on, and let that horse ride it all the way home to victory, right? Kill the losers and then keep the winner. Pretty straightforward. That's a nice little quick win that you can do there. So that's number 1. Have you got everything set up? How long? Look at the data of like, how long has this been going on? is it the campaign not looking great, but do I have individual ads that are going better? So then, kill the losers and keep the winners and ride those bad boys for as long as you can. That's number one. So that's probably the most detailed and in-depth one. I know, take a breath. But now part two, just so you go through all of that and you're like, okay, all of that's set up right. The data is like telling me all these sort of things. It's been longer than 24 hours. So what's the next easy step in the checklist? Part two of the checklist is the creative. So what do I mean by that? I mean the images and the videos. So have a look at like the image or video needs to be refreshed. That's basically what I'm saying. So if you've got one image you've been running for say 7 days and then it stops working, it like starts getting too expensive. And so what you can do, a really simple fix is just add in a new image, have the exact same ad copy, the exact same headline, the exact same offer, the exact same everything. All you've done is change the photo or change the video. And I would say photo is the easiest ones to do. That will give it a fresh set of legs. It'll breathe life into it. And then that puppy will run home for victory again for a little while, for another, hopefully give it another 5 to 7 days before you got to rotate again. And so you can have the same ad, the same offer, same everything, and you just rotate your creatives, like putting in new images frequently. That will make your ad campaign as a whole last a lot longer than if you just set it up once and then leave it. And then after it stops working, go, it's not working. We got to change everything. We got to start making up a crazy new offer. We got to completely change everything. No, look, you're looking for small little wins that you can implement that will move the needle massively. So I would do that. That's number two. Number three, so just say you've reviewed the data and then you've been swapping out images for a while and now it's starting to really slow down again or have crazy high lead costs. Then you got to look at ad copy. And what do I mean by ad copy? Just the writing in the ads, the caption, the text. So you just need to freshen that up. So you could have pop in new image, have that same offer though. Just say you're doing a 28-day challenge. Keep it a 28-day challenge, but now just change up the ad copy a little bit. And sometimes the ad copy just needs little tweaks. You don't need to rewrite the whole thing. So what we call the first sentence that you see, you see on a Facebook post, it has that little thing that says see more, and then it'll expand out all the text. Well, that bit of text that you see before you have to click see more, you might see the first sentence. That's what we call the lead in. So the lead in to the ad copy. Sometimes you just need to change that. So just change that first sentence. So instead of it saying 28-day challenge at the top, you can change that to be hey, you could change it to a question. So hey, are you struggling with X, Y, and Z? Then read this. That could be a way to change it, just changing the lead in, right? But then the rest of it after that is all the same. And then the headline, you see on a Facebook ad, and there's that big bold bit of text that's right next to the button. It's underneath the photo, even though they call it the headline. That's actually called the headline. So in this example, it could be say for example, I'm on the Gold Coast. It says Gold Coast 28-day challenge might be the headline you've been running for ages. Well, then just change it up to you could say something like a new fun way to get fit, right? Or you could change it to, be careful when you're posing a question because Facebook sometimes gets a bit funny if you're asking questions that are a bit too direct and too confronting, because it has to be a safe space for everybody. You know what I mean? That could be talked about on another podcast maybe. But that headline could be changed to, simple little tweaks in there. Just make it look a little different. I've seen in some cases just changing the headline from being lowercase to uppercase, and it gives it fresh legs. It sounds weird, but yeah. So that's number three. Number four, change the gender. So just say you've been running a 28-day challenge for men for the last month, doing image creatives, and you've changed the headline once or twice, and the ad copy. And then, okay, well, cool. We've run that. We've squeezed the juice out of every possible angle that we've got here. Then swap it over. Exact same offer, 28-day challenge, but now let's make it for women. And so the ad copy can stay relatively the same. You just have to make some phrases more feminine or more appealing to the female market, But then the core elements of the offer are the same, and the things, the service that you provide and whatever. Then you just have to have images that are female, and then bang, now you've got that. And then you can run that, say, for like a month, where you go through and, you know, you're swapping out your images regularly. And then once you've exhausted that, you go then, you know, maybe do a couple of tweaks to the ad copy. Now, what I must say here before I go on, let's get that. If I could do a sound effect with that record player sound, let's stop for a minute and let's take this in for a moment. Only ever change one thing at a time. I'm going to repeat that. Only ever change one thing at a time. And why do you think we might do that? Because what we could do, we could go through and go, cool, okay, stop working. Let's go and like create that 28-day challenge stopped just for in this example and go, cool, now let's do like a first month free offer. Let's change it for this and no joining fee and blah, 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 or whatever, and different images and different ad, completely everything. Well, you could get leads again, sure, but you might not know like what was the thing that changed it, because you've changed everything. So if you make just one change, and also you want to make it like so you can squeeze the juice, get as much life out of one thing as possible. Make life easy for yourself. So once you've gone through and just say you swap out one image, cool, swap out the image, and then you do that, cool, see those images go. Then that image stops working, then swap out another one. Let that run for a couple of days, then swap in another image, and so on. And then once you've done that, then you can come back and get your best images, but then change up the ad copy. So re-put in the old images that are like your best ones. Best ones meaning the ones that got the most leads, right? Then do the ad copy tweak. Then you can go back to that, right? Because now you're going back to proven images that have worked, but now you're doing a test on the ad copy change. And then once you do that, go through. So back into it. Point one, review data. Point two, checklist of point two is the creative, changing in your images and your videos. Now on that, just do images, easier, especially for lead generation. Videos, you don't need to get a fancy videographer or anything like that. Just stick to images, are great for generating leads. Videos are cool for more like a branding perspective. So you probably won't get as many leads if you run ads with videos. Some people will probably say I'm wrong, but from my experience for running ads for gyms over the last, well, this December will be 10 years exactly running ads for gyms. Myself started with my own and now with the agency. So over those 10 years, that's what I've seen. I've tried it all. Images, stick to that, simple. Now you've gone through, you've changed the images, you've changed the ad copy, now you've changed the gender, you've done that. And then now what do? Okay, now you can change the campaign type. So what I mean by that is, this is point 5, change the campaign type, is if you're running lead forms, so within the forms that were inside of Facebook, now what you can do is you can get the same sort of ad, exact same ad, same images, same copy, same offer, same everything, but now turn it into a messenger ad. Because just say you've got like, I don't know, 50,000 people in your local area that you're advertising to for your gym. Not all 50,000 people are like people that complete lead forms. People have certain behaviors, right? And so Facebook puts the ads in front of the people that are most likely to take the action that you want them to. But some people might not like to do that. So out of those 50,000 people, it might have like, you know, this smaller segment of people that it shows the ads to and you get your leads from and so on. But then after you've exhausted that small segment of your local area, now you get the other people that are more likely to engage via Facebook Messenger. So now that same offer is being seen by other people that behave differently on the platform, which is that. Once we started doing that, I was like, wow, that's actually pretty cool. So there's that. Messenger, you can change it up to Messenger. They're kind of like the two best ones you can do, in my opinion, is lead forms and Messenger, because you don't need to mess around with like tech and building landing pages, and you know that sort of stuff can be a bit of a nightmare if you don't know what you're doing. So keep it simple for yourselves. Go landing pages and Messenger, and even when doing that, there's still complexities that come along with that too. But that would be checklist number 5. Then lastly, we change the offer. Number 6. This is the checklist. So what I mean by the offer is the thing that you're advertising. So we were, in this example, advertising a 28-day challenge. So maybe what you can do is then change it to something else. So you change it to maybe call it a first month free when you sign up offer, more of like a membership retention based offer where you're getting people to sign up for longer, but when they sign up, they get a month free as a kickback, or they get 7-day trial. Not a fan of that one. That could be an offer though. That works for some people. You know what I mean? So you could change the offer depending on what it is. Change it from a 28-day thing to a 12-week challenge, transformation challenge or something, right? So there's a whole bunch of different things you can do in terms of that. So of the offer. And then once you change the offer, then you go back up to the top of this checklist and then use that to then get the most life out of that new offer by, number one, reviewing data. So I'm going to review, this is the checklist now as a quick recap. Is number one, review data, make sure human error, you got things set up correctly and so on. Number two, creative and videos. Make sure that then you're swapping those out. Number three, ad copy, tweaking things like the lead in and the headline. Number four, changing the gender. Change the gender. So swap from females to males. Always separate your ad campaigns by gender. Work much better when they do. Then point number 5 on the checklist is then change the campaign type. So if you're running messenger ads, now go back to lead forms or vice versa. And then number 6, once you've gone through all those and then you've squeezed the juice as much as possible out of everything there, now, bang, we're changing the offer. And then you rinse and repeat that cycle. And so any gym that we have as part of the agency here is we get them 3 offers. So we craft 3 offers for them, because on average, an offer will last, give or take, roughly a month. And that's after the time of fatigue, after you go through all these processes. Some will last much longer. Some will last like 2-3 months for one offer, you know. But it's good to have 3 ready to go. So then when you do get to the point of like 0.6 and then swap the offer, you've got it there ready to go, and bang, you can make the change. And that's it today, guys. That is everything. I hope you've enjoyed this. I really enjoyed this podcast now. You know, this is obviously talking about things that I really enjoy and I love. So I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did making it for you. And if you are a gym owner and you're listening to this and you're like, hey, man, like, I want to know more about what you guys do and we'll get some more tips like this, then come on into our Facebook group. It's called Double Your Gym. Just look it up on Facebook, or Double Your Gym Growth Hacks. Come in, join the group. You get a couple of freebies when you join, which are free resources like a sales script that we've used for our call center service that we do for gyms. You get the perfect ad template. So we give you a template on how to write ads and a few other goodies and bits and pieces. And we have regular things like this podcast being streamed live into there. And it's a community of other gym owners that are sharing things that are working right now, up to date with the sales marketing and other things that are working really good. So until next time, guys, I really appreciate you. I love you all. And I'll see you then. Bye.